Hello and welcome to Filmi Ladies. I am Beth. Here is Pitu. And we are talking about a topic that we've been batting around since we started this podcast. And it's called Whatever Happened To? Because we want to talk about people who have kind of poof, vanished. These could be long established people who suddenly declined. They could be one-offs. They could be anything. And I'm very relieved to say that Piju has run with this topic and has a lot of things to say. She just said before we started recording that she was bursting. And I've only got like two really key people on my list because one of them I'm obsessed with. And I can't wait to see who all comes up, because I bet there's going to be people she talks about that I don't even know who they are because they disappear.
Or you just don't care.
Or I just don't care. And that's one of them. So I think you should start because you have the most to say.
Okay. So I was bursting to talk about this person. I wanted to talk about this person since the podcast began because she really is one of my, I really, really like her as a filmy lady, and that is Chitrangada Singh.
Sure.
I mean, okay, so the only movie of hers that I've seen that is like so awesome and she's so fabulous in it, but it is such a good movie, is Hazaro Khwahishe Aisi. I feel like everybody was talking about her when it came out. The movie was so good. The music was good. Shiny Ahuja was good. KK was good. Everybody was good. And she was being hailed as the next Smita Patil, which, because I'm a skeptical, cynical person, I was like, yeah, let's wait and see what else she does before we start crowning her the next Smita Patil, because those are some big shoes to fill. But I was very excited. I thought she was gorgeous. I thought she was a brilliant actress. She was talented. And then she just vanished. And now she's done her filmography is so scarce. And she is just coming out with a movie right now with Sara Ali Khan, of all people. I think it's called Gaslight or something. I don't even know. And I'm very sad because I was promised, the poor person, Smita Patil or whatever, and I did not get that. And basically, at this point, the only Chitrangada movie I have that I can watch and admire her is Hazaro Khwahishe Aisi. So I'm very upset about it, and I want to know what happened. Do you like Chitrangada?
Yeah, I do like her. I've definitely seen that film, and I am looking at her filmography, and she does a lot of kind of special appearances in songs, like in Joker, which I don't remember that happening, but I remember when she was in Inkar with Arjun Rambal. I remember that poster and people being like, "Oh, she's back!" And people being so excited. But
yeah,
I noticed that she is in Mona Michael, which I watched recently with aforementioned Bollywood scholar friend and Tiger Shroff expert Melanie. I didn't even I don't think I clocked that she was even in it, although I can picture the scene. So, and she was in that Bob Biswas movie that's like the Kahani kind of stuff, which I wanted to see, and then I think it's not streaming anywhere where I can get it.
I haven't seen it.
It's on Z5. But yeah, she's a person that I remember when I first encountered that film, everyone's like, "Oh, she's the greatest." And then, she just basically didn't do much of anything. I hope that was her choice.
I think I read that, so she had so much momentum at that time, and then she went and got married to Jyoti Randhawa, who's like a big golfer person, like an athlete. And then she had a kid, and then she decided to take a break, which I was like, okay, I'm very supportive of people wanting to take a break from whatever their career is, but why would you do that when you have just debuted?
Right.
And there's so much chatter about you, maybe do it a little bit later. I don't know, because I think by the time she decided to come back, everyone had just sort of moved on. So I found that a little bit, and clearly she wants to come back because she keeps doing these bit roles here and there, but no one will give her anything meaty anymore, which is in stark contrast to Gayatri Joshi, who was in Swades. She was one and done. She did the movie. She got married to one of the biggest billionaires in India of the Oberoi Hotel fame. And she was like, "Bye, bitches." And she was gone. And I don't think she's ever, you're married to the heir of the Oberoi fortune. You're not gonna slog it out in movie studios. So I don't miss her because I feel like she's made her peace with it. But Chitrangada, I feel like wants to act, but it's like the boat has sailed or the ship has sailed or whatever, and no one will give her a role. So it makes me a little bit sad. And I want her to do something good. So
She was in
I'm sad about her.
that movie with Seth called Bazaar, which I never saw. I meant to see, but didn't see.
See,
Um,
this is what I mean. She's getting roles. They're just in movies that no one wants to see.
yeah, so I don't even know if all of these are, some of these maybe are lead roles. I don't know, but yeah, they're not things that anyone seems to be talking about very much.
Exactly.
Is she on
So
Instagram?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I saw some like snippets like in my explore page because I follow all these Bollywood pages, and right now she's promoting whatever movie she's doing that where she's co-starring with Sara Ali Khan, which I'm not gonna watch it. But in all of the promo stuff, like Sara Ali Khan is actually like talking, and Chitrangada just looks checked out. She just looks like she doesn't care, and I was like, girl, if you want to come back, you need to put a little bit more effort into your promotional game. So I don't know what she's doing,
And I'm
but
looking
she's
at
one of those.
the poster for that with Vikrant Massey. I mean, he's great.
Mm,
So that's a really weird and interesting cast.
yeah.
Huh.
She's kind of like, those people in the high school yearbook, like, or whatever that are voted like most likely to succeed. I feel like Chitrangada was that person. Like she was voted most likely to succeed, going to be the next Miss Smita Patil. And then it's like, what are you doing? You just like disappeared.
That movie has already come out.
The the one with
Gaslight.
Chitrangada?
Yeah.
Gaslight. Yeah,
It came out
it's
on
on
Friday.
9,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on 9,000
Wow.
already.
Okay.
So I don't
Oh,
know.
okay. Very confusing to me.
Yes.
Wow.
Who do you want to talk about?
All right. This is a person that I asked this question about, not because I miss this person or anything.
Oh,
I just am curious.
okay.
What happened to Upan Patel? Remember him?
Oh, he had the dimple in his chin. That's how I remember
He's
him.
British. He was a model. He was in 36 Chinatown. That was, I think that's
Yes,
his
I
first film.
remember.
And I need to rewatch that film because I remember really liking that film. And the songs are
The songs were very good.
so good. So maybe when we get to Karina in our Superstar series, I will watch that one. Again,
He's
but
not the one that is the sibling of Amisha Patel, right? That's
no, different.
Ashmit Patel.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. So
Okay.
this guy's British. I know he's in at least a few films from Southern India because he's in that movie with Vikram that I was trying to get you to watch where he's
Oh,
in love with a supermodel.
okay.
Upan Patel plays another model in that. And I'm not going to say he's
Okay.
good, but he does look like a model.
Okay.
So he is not again, I want to emphasize, I don't wish he was around more. I just remember a lot of talk about him, and that could be because I was paying attention to like the BBC Bollywood coverage or something, and English language stuff since he is British. Maybe I heard more about him than was at all merited. I don't know, but he just, it seemed kind of like someone was really trying to make fetch happen, They were
Right.
really trying to make Upan Patel happen, and then he didn't really happen. But then when I saw him in, I mean, I is almost 10 years old at this point, I think. But I remember when I saw it in the theater, I was like, oh, that guy. Yeah. And
When I see, oh, good.
I was just going to say, if he's mostly in Southern films, that is my ignorance speaking, because I mostly don't watch South Indian films very much. So he could well have a flourishing career outside of Hindi and Bengali. And I do not know. And I did not Google everyone before we started recording. But he was kind of
Right.
there. And then
I mean, it could be like he's just not very memorable.
no, he's not.
So it's kind of like, why would someone give him roles though?
But like, so invoking for the second time on the podcast today, Arjun Rampal, right? Like that's a model who definitely had a movie career and who has
Yes.
also, stepped out from it at this point. But, so some models, probably more women than men, but some models really do make it. Was John Abraham a model
Somehow,
first? I can't remember.
Yes, yes.
So it can happen. And I'm going to come back to that with one of my other people. But he just, and maybe he didn't really want a career in Hindi cinema or Indian cinema. I don't know.
Right.
But,
Okay.
I just remember his face being around and then like, oh, and then it wasn't.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, like, I always wonder about some of these people where they were like actors and they didn't quite completely quit the film industry. They were sort of like one leg in, one leg out. I
Yeah.
always wonder, like, how do they pay the rent? How
Right.
do they make ends meet? Like if you're just doing like one role here and there, because do these people have like jobs and careers? Like Arvind Swami, right? Like from Roja and all of those
Oh
movies,
yeah.
Bombay, all of those. He apparently works in software in California. So like he like left the film industry and went and did that. And then Mayuri Kango, who was in that, I forget, Papa Kehte, I think it was called, the movie
Mm,
with Jugal Hansraj. She works for Google in India. So
wow.
she's like doing well, like in the, so there's people who like just left the film industry and went and did something else with their lives.
Right.
It's the people who have one foot in, one foot out that I always wonder about, because I'm like, are you getting enough roles to pay the bills? Like, how do you make a living? I mean, unless they come from like, unless they're like trust fund babies. I don't
Right.
know. So I wanted to talk about Chandrachud Singh. Remember Chandrachud
Yes.
Singh?
Can
He
I
was
just
so good in matches.
Can I
Yeah.
just say that so when I started watching Hindi films in 2005 and we would go get, I would go get DVDs from Grocery Uncle. I called in on Grocery Uncle the other day, by the way. I hadn't seen him in years
Oh,
and he had, because my other Indian grocery store to whom I'm not attached to any of the people, so I don't call them in my head even anything. They no longer sell my favorite tea. So I was like, I have to go
okay.
see if Grocery Uncle has it. And he did. I was very happy to see him.
Okay.
He still rents DVDs. But
Oh,
when I would go rent DVDs from him, I felt like that actor was in whatever ad for whatever film was before the movie on the DVD all the time. Like,
mm,
was he related to the people who put DVDs together? It's a serious question because, like, he was promoted like crazy. And it took me years and years to actually see a whole film that he was in. I think just again because of the eras I tend to watch films in
right.
or whatever. But yeah, when I have seen him, I have liked him.
He's apparently from some like princely family in India.
Oh, well then,
So I don't know, but
I guess he
I
doesn't have
haven't
to
heard of
work.
it or anything. Yeah. But I mean, he was really good in matches. I really liked him. And what was that movie that was made by ABCL Corporation? Tere Mere Sapne. It had him
No.
and Arshad Varsi, really good songs. He was good in that. I thought he was very promising. He didn't have like hero looks, but that was fine. Like there was, I felt like he had his own niche. He was a little bit of a heartthrob, and then he just kind of like vanished. I mean, we
Yeah.
all know why Shiny Ahuja vanished, and that's good. Like, he went to jail. But with Chandrajit Singh, I was always like, where did you go? I have no idea what he does. Do you want to talk about Imran Khan? I have such a soft spot for him.
Yeah. I mean, we brought him up the other day on an episode and just like how he was everywhere and also doing ads and things like that, right? And then oof.
Yeah. He was so cute and easy on the eye. I loved him in Johnny Tu Ye Jaane. Although I have to say, I watched this one movie. I forget the name. I think it was called like, I can't remember what it was called, but he did a movie where he co-starred with Sanjay Dutt. Oh my God, Beth, it was a disaster.
I
So,
know what you're talking about. I haven't
right?
seen it, but I know what you mean.
It's ludicrous. Imran Khan played the dude that kidnaps, I think it was called Kidnap.
I think
He
it
played
was.
the
Yeah.
dude that kidnaps Sanjay Dutt's daughter. I was like, this is so unbelievable. And I saw this scene where Imran Khan is like calling and Sanjay Dutt picks up the phone and Imran Khan is basically like asking for the ransom. And it was so unbelievable to me. I mean, Sanjay Dutt's pinky finger is more intimidating than the whole body of Imran Khan. And I was like, you're going to intimidate Sanjay Dutt on the phone with ransom? Nobody believes you. So he was like so cute in these like teeny bopper roles, basically what Shahid Kapoor used to do until he kind of graduated into the big leagues.
Hmm.
The
Hmm.
problem is Imran just didn't graduate to the big leagues. He was just stuck in that like high school cuteness zone.
Although he tried, right?
He did
Because
try.
like that one is clearly not a high school teeny bopper one. You know, Delhi Belly, I
Oh,
haven't
it's so
rewatched that
good.
in a while, but I thought he was really very good in
He
that.
was
And I
very
like
good
that
at
movie
that.
a lot. And I actually just tweeted a picture from this yesterday, Matru Ki Bijli Ka Mandola, which I remember kind of liking. And, if you get to work with Vishal Bhardwaj, that's
Yeah,
not
why
nothing.
not?
And but yeah, there's quite a few of his films that as I'm looking at this, I haven't seen, but it's not a very long filmography.
He quit though. I read
Yeah.
that he quit and he got like really depressed and whatnot. And I think he directed something like a
Hmm.
short film or something like that. But I don't know what he's doing. But supposedly he quit the film industry. But I feel
Oh
like he
yeah.
could have, he wasn't the most versatile person, let's just
No.
put it that way. But he was very charming, very cute. I liked him in Key and Ka with Karina. I liked him in that movie he did with Sonam Kapoor. I've forgotten the name of it, but it was like a rom-com. He was cute in whatever he did, and I was just kind of like, you should have maybe kept trying,
He and
you
Ka
know.
is Arjun Kapoor, right? I think you're thinking of a different. Are you thinking of
I'm thinking of the other movie, Gori Tere Pyar Mein
yeah,
with
yeah,
Kareena
yeah.
Kapoor.
Or
Yeah,
Ikme or Ik2.
or that. Yeah. So he's not, and he co-starred with like bigger names. Like Devu
Mm-hmm.
is a big name, and Sonam
Mm-hmm.
Kapoor wasn't that big, but So I was just kind of like, why did you just give up? I feel like, did he just get like disheartened because even these said bigger films were flops, so maybe he just felt like he wasn't bankable enough. I don't really know. But yeah, I kind of wish that he would just sort of like come back and try. um Anyone you miss?
Uh, I would like to talk about a person I miss extremely much, which is Pretty Zinta.
I knew you were going to say PT Zeta. So I have to tell people this. When we were still like coming up with the idea for the podcast, and we were just like brainstorming, and we had this Google Drive and we have Google Doc where I would like write down ideas that we were getting. And then Beth wrote in all caps, and she wrote, I would like to talk about what the hell happened to Preeti Zinta! Exclamation marks. And I was like being very diplomatic, and I was like, okay, I don't think we can do a whole episode on what the hell happened to Preeti Zinta, but I'm sure we'll find a place to put it in.
And here it is.
Now is your chance after so many episodes to finally speak in all caps, Beth.
I don't like again, like I do not okay, what do I want to say? I love her. However, I think the film industry is doing totally fine without her, right? Like it's not like, I think there are other people who can kind of offer more or less what she could offer, but that doesn't mean I don't miss her specific presence. And her sort of like celebrity persona was also interesting to me with her, being known for being kind of outspoken, for not
Mm.
buckling down under the mob, which is
Yeah,
that's not
she
kind of
was
amazing. That's
ballsy.
amazing
She was
as a
ballsy.
young woman to do that. And I have to say, I feel like Dilse is one of the best debut performances I have ever seen. I think she's freaking amazing in that movie. And she offers this like interesting jolt of normalcy in what is a very weird film and weird relationship that she's sort of the triangle to. And I really
It's
love
so
how she did
dysfunctional,
that.
the whole like Shah Rukh Manisha
Yeah.
thing, and then she's like a regular girl next door.
Yeah. And she's so good at that. And I mean, is she completely believable in the Silence of the Lambs remake? Maybe not, but like she's still um yeah, she
Which
plays
was
Jodie.
that? The one with Anil Kapoor?
Sangharsh. Sangharsh.
Oh, okay.
Um, but I think she's fine to quite good in everything that I've seen her in. I haven't seen all of her films, but I've seen quite a few of them. And I think that there was something kind of, I mean, you can't talk about her and not say bubbly, but I think she also offers she's like bubbly with a core of steel or something in a way that I really
Yeah,
like. And I feel
like
that,
bubbly, but also badass.
yeah, and like bubbly, but no confident and knows who she is and like isn't as much of a pushover some of the times. And like, in Kank, for example, she got the short end of the script in some
Yes.
ways, but like, yeah, being married to that guy would have sucked. So no, I do not blame her at all, that character at all. I really, that she's got this funny little niche of like unmarried pregnancy movies and, that's again, not being afraid to take those roles on, which I'm sure may not have been super easy all the time. Um, I haven't rewatched Krish not Krish, Koi
Mm.
Mil Gaya in
Mm.
a long time. And I can't imagine it holds up very well, but like that was, that's fun. She's fun with Rithik, I think. Um,
Yeah.
I
I
did
like her
watch,
chemistry with Ritik a lot. I love
yeah,
her with him in Lakshya.
Yeah. And I did really like her in like Jumbar Barjoom. I think that's a film a lot of people kind of feel is underrated and
I
deserves more
love that
mentioning.
movie.
Yeah, it's really fun. And just looking at her filmography, she did a bunch of stuff from like 98 to 2008, and then it's basically, but she obviously was choosing to focus on cricket and whatever else she was up to. And I mean, had an abusive partner. Let's not forget that. That's a good reason to back up from a lot of things.
Neswadia.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
But I watched Ishq in Paris. It's not good, you know. But I would love to see her come back if she wants to. And I enjoy her like weird little presence on Instagram where she always goes ting at the end. Like, I don't know what that's about. I find it kind of cute. She's almost exactly the same age as I am. So that might be a reason that I have kind of a soft spot for her. But I don't know. With her pretty Zinta was, like
Right.
if she wants to come back, I hope she gets the opportunity to do it. Cause I think seeing that kind of transition into a middle-aged person would be really interesting. And I bet there's some good stuff that she could do.
She did do a movie recently and it tanked hard. And it was actually with Sunny Deol. And I just
Yeah.
felt like she was very miscast. I didn't watch that movie and it did tank, but it was very strange because she's married to Sunny Deol, which, first of all, that is not a pairing that I support. That is a very strange
No,
pairing.
that's a little weird.
It's very weird. And she is Bihari or something like that. Like it's somewhere in the hinterland. And she's supposed to speak with this very like villagey accent. And they've dressed her in all these like horrendous synthetic saris. And it's very anti Preeti Zinta. Like it's
Yeah.
very against type. And I just saw the photos and I mean I saw the like stills and some of the promos from the movie and I was like, no, this looks terrible. So she did try, but I don't think the public was buying what she was selling. So yeah.
Yeah.
I like her, but I just feel like, given how ageist the industry is,
Oh
the
yeah.
people who will get roles before her would be the people who are much more versatile and far stronger actors like Vidya and Rani. It's
Yeah.
like if Vidya says no and Rani says no, then maybe they'll come to Preeti. You know what I mean?
And
Plus
I'm
the fact
I'm
that she lives
okay
in
with
LA.
yeah. And I'm okay with that. Like I would not want to
Right,
oust either Ronnie or Vidya in order to get Preeti
right.
Zinta back. But I just and I think this may speak to a little bit of, when each of us kind of becomes really interested in a thing, like the people who are fixtures at that time kind of remain with you in a way, right? So she was
Yes,
everywhere in 2005 when I
she
started watching Hindi
was.
films, and like quite recently before that. And obviously, if you like Shah Rukh, you're going to encounter her, and if you like Saif, you're going to encounter her. Those sort of like, if you like Yash Raj films, you're going to encounter her.
She
So
was
she was
she was the
everywhere for
Anushka
me.
before Anushka.
Yeah, basically. And
It
that's
was,
that's a good
yeah.
comparison, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it was kind of like when Yashraj or Dharma couldn't get Kajol for whatever reason, their next option was Preeti Zinta. Or if they couldn't get Bebo, then it was Preeti Zinta.
That's
Because they
interesting.
originally wanted Kajol for Veer Zara, and she said no, so they got Preeti Zinta. I know.
Oh
And then
no.
no, I know. And then they also wanted Bebo for Kal Ho Na Ho, and she asked for too much money. And then Karan Johar was upset with her. And then they had like a Cold War for a while because how dare Bebo ask for more money? And then they cast Preeti Zinta. So a lot of the roles that Preeti Zinta actually got
Huh.
were roles that were initially offered to someone else. But hey, whatever, if you're getting the
Yeah.
role, take the role.
Yeah.
But she has like an insane, like some real bangers that she has danced on, like all of those
Absolutely.
songs. Your favorite Pretty Woman,
She's not, I don't, well, I mean, she's grumpy on the sidelines
but
in that,
it's in the
right?
movie. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But like, It's the Time to Disco is
Yeah,
a forever classic of goofiness. I love it,
all the songs from Veer Zara.
Yeah.
Oh, Jia Jale from Dil Se, which is one of my favorite, most
So
amazing
good.
choreographed songs. She is sultry. See, that's the thing too. It's like her first movie. It does say she was sexy and sultry in Jia Jale and had that like very like hot sizzling chemistry with Shah Rukh.
Yeah.
And then I don't know where the sex appeal went away. After that, she never really
Hmm.
tapped into the sexiness, and then she just got slotted into like the cute girl.
And it is hard to combine sexy and cute girl
Yes.
still. And we all know that in real life that works all the time, but like that's,
Yes.
as a movie character in mainstream Hindi film, like it's not gonna
Yeah.
happen as much, I guess.
Sexy and cute is a combo that I think only Juhi Chawla has managed to like, encapsulate.
Yeah.
I think Preeti tried, but I think she was more cute than in the sexy and cute thing. I don't know.
I just read on Wikipedia that she was in an episode of Fresh Off the Boat with Veer Das, which is I should go dig that up. I'd like to see that. And I guess there was going to be maybe a spin-off series of that, which you guys, I'm on Twitter all the time and I never know the contemporary film, like what projects are not happening, like they're like being talked. I don't know. I read the wrong things, I guess. And I never know this stuff, but I don't know. Yeah, Wither Pretty Zinta. I hope she's happy, whatever she's doing. I mean, she's like going to the gym and having fun on Instagram, apparently. So good.
And she has a lot of fruit trees in her yard.
Good for her.
And she's a new mom, so
right.
Yeah. Haven't you seen her Instagram things where she's like, this is a green pepper, a bell pepper on my planet, this is a lemon, and all of that.
I always seem to get the ones of her going to events wearing big sunglasses, which I fully approve of.
Okay.
And then at the gym.
Okay. I want to talk about Kumar Gaurav.
He's the number one person for this topic, right?
Right? It's okay. So obviously Kumar Gaurav is like before my times. But when I did see Love Story, and I was like a teenager, I think, when I saw Love Story, it came on TV. They actually used to play Love Story a lot in India on like Star Plus or whatever. And the songs were so nice. And I was like, this guy's cute. Who is this? And then there was nothing else. And then I saw this movie that his dad, Rajendra Kumar, produced for him. It was called Fool. And I only watched it because of Madhuri, whom I adore. And it was terrible. They had no chemistry. It was just an awful movie. And when I read up about him and like vintage film magazines and gossip and stuff, he was supposed to be like the next big thing. He was supposed to be like the next Amitabh Bachchan, not Amitabh Bachchan because he wasn't like an angry young man, but he was supposed to be this gigantic superstar. And it was just like damp squib. It just fizzled. And I have no idea. He was engaged to be married to Raj Kapoor's daughter. Reema Jain, who is the mom of Adar and Arman Jain, one of whom made their film debut and it looked terrible. They look like low rent Ranbir. It's like Ranbir who hasn't had enough food to eat and is very sad. And has also been on an alcoholic bender. No, that's how they look.
I mean, Yara Kapoor, so it's gonna happen. It's coming for you. The genes are harsh, as we have discussed.
The Kapoor genes are not the sober genes. They're the other genes. But like, what happened to Kumar Gaurav?
I don't know. And I have a friend on Twitter who is also in California, who goes by Brown Girl Daily on Twitter. She is the big fan of him. And she even had a Tumblr devoted to him for a while. She is delightful, but you should always follow her. If you like vintage film, anything, you should follow her because she gets some great pictures. But yeah, I've not seen any of his films, I don't think, unless he came back as an adult, like played a dad in something, and I'm not tracking who he was. But I mean, I don't really get the appeal of Rajendra Kumar, so I'm almost afraid to try his son to see.
No, terrible. Rajendra Kumar was terrible. Having said that, he does have an impressive filmography, and he was called Jubilee Kumar because his films were super hits. I personally think, because I'm biased, because I don't like him, I just think his films were hit because of his co-stars.
I mean, that's totally possible.
Yeah, like who is watching Sangam for Rajendra Kumar? Not me. I've watched Sangam a million times and it's always for Vajantimala and it's always for the songs. I don't care about no Raj Kapoor and I don't care about no Rajendra Kumar. I'm there for Vajanti.
Also, what a choice of men. No, just be single.
I would rather be single.
Yeah.
I would just be the beautiful Vajantimala, just like gliding through the meadows, looking gorgeous in my saris and my
play the piano yourself. It's fine.
Breaking hearts. I know. Why you got to get married to one of these two terrible men? I don't know.
You don't.
What happened to Rahul Bose? I last saw him in Dil Dhadakne though when he was great.
No. You saw him in Bulbul.
I did see him in Bulbul. He was great in Bulbul. I love to hate him in Bulbul.
I mean, he does Bengali films as well. But he's not. I don't know if he was wanting to be a mainstream Hindi film hero, but he's obviously carved out a very different niche for himself.
Yeah.
I know some people really have a strong negative reaction to him. I like him most of the
I
time.
like him too.
He plays some awful characters,
Yeah.
but I think he's very good at it. And like, I think that in something like Dil Rakne Do, it would have been possible to have gotten completely lost in that film because there's so many people doing so many things in different ways. I mean, first of all, you've got Ranveer Singh and Anil Kapoor in the same film. Like, whew, that's a lot of oxygen being sucked up, although they're both
Yeah.
fairly chill in that film. But but I think he's quite good, and I
Yeah.
hope that he's getting the kinds of roles that interest him. And I don't know
I
anything about his
mean,
personal life. I don't want to know. Like, maybe he's awful, but I don't want to know. But as an actor, I'm always happy to see him when he pops up. But I don't seek
yeah,
him out. I will admit that. Like, I
right.
don't go like, oh, what's Rahul Bose up to? Like,
Yeah. But I mean, I think it's like such a testament to his acting that he's in a movie like Dil Dhadakne Do, which is such a like it's such a big multi-star. It has extremely talented. You have Shefali Shah,
yeah,
you have
everyone's so
Anil Kapoor,
great.
Ranveer Singh, Priyanka Chopra. Anushka Sharma is the weak link in that movie, but okay, whatever. All these amazing people, and that scene where he is with Zarina Wahab, that scene where he is such a even Farhan Akhtar is good in that movie. He's so punchable in that scene.
Oh,
Anil Kapoor gets mad. I was so happy when Anil Kapoor just comes and like screams in his face. I was like, you deserve that. You had that coming. I loved it. But to
yeah,
make an impact with such a tiny role in a scene full of all these big names and to be able to hold your own, I mean, he's a really good actor.
yeah, I think
I
so
hope he
too.
does more with like streaming and stuff. How do you feel about the Bobby Dale renaissance that's happening?
Oh,
Not renaissance,
so
resurgence.
the Bobby Sans.
The Bobby Dale.
I He's not a person I have strong feelings about one way or the other, but I yeah, like, I'm always happy to see him. I could not tell you again what is his unique selling point. I don't know.
The hair?
The hair question mark. Yeah, like, I enjoy him, but I sort of like the idea of him as much as I like him, So like in race 3, you're like, Bobby,
Yeah.
Bobby, And again, he's like basically my age, I think maybe a little bit older. So I'm like, how you doing?
I loved him in Jhoom Barabar Jhoom as the
Yeah,
dentist, and I was just kind of
yeah.
like, I want a dentist like that. Yeah, he's funny. He was basically, I remember when he was like a thing, like he was very popular in the like when he had just
Oh,
debuted or whatever. And admittedly, he was handsome and he had good screen presence. Although he did nothing for me, my heart always belonged to his older brother Sunny Paji. But he was at that time known as the Deol who could dance because neither Dharam
sure,
nor Sunny, bless their
sure.
hearts, can dance. So Bobby was kind of known as the person who could dance, and like he was cute and soldier. He actually made a
Yeah.
great pairing with Preeti Zinta. Actually,
Yes.
they just worked together.
But I also, I just looked him up. He's actually a little bit older than I am, and I had not realized that. But he just seems like sort of a cheerful concept as a celebrity,
Yeah,
right? Like, you're like, oh, Bobby Deal. Like, I can't
like unproblematic.
yeah, as far as I can tell, like,
Yeah,
obviously, and these people for whom nepotism is not enough,
mm,
I do feel bad for some of them in a way because it's probably extra embarrassing, right?
yeah.
To be Bobby Deol or Uday Chopra or whoever. Actually, one more person that I want to talk about after this.
Uday
Like,
Chopra.
no, 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 no. Nobody cares what happened to him. And now we all know, thanks to the documentary about
Thanks to the
himself, that
romantics.
he sneaked in there. Um, so my heart does kind of, you feel a little bit bad for some of those people, especially if they are, in Bobby Deol's case, like, I don't think there's anything wrong with him as a mainstream hero, but there was clearly
Yeah,
nothing super right.
right. I think people like Bobby Deol, Abhishek Bachchan, the problem with them is that they're kind of mediocre. Like they're not bad. They're not
Right,
bad. Bad would be Uday Chopra,
right.
but they're not good. They don't. There's nothing that would make someone their fan because if you're gonna be like that generation, if I'm gonna be a fan, I'm gonna be a fan of Hrithik Roshan. I'm not gonna be a fan of
Mm,
Abhishek. And they kind of like debuted in sort of the same year or thereabouts, like Kahuna Pyara and Refugee. So it's kind of like, what do you bring to the table? And they didn't really bring much to the table. Like I couldn't even tell you what Bobby Deol's films are like, whereas like
Right.
Dharam has such a strong filmography
Right.
and such a strong presence, and like, you know, like Dharam fans know why they like Garam Dharam, and Paji fans like me know why we love Paji.
Yeah.
Why would you like Bobby?
I mean, there's nothing wrong with
Right.
him. So maybe you just sort
Yeah.
of do,
It's just
right? You
kind
just
of
sort of
like,
landed there. And
yeah.
yeah, and he has obviously the double whammy of not only is his dad, he's got the older brother also. So
Yeah.
that's gotta be hard.
And the stepmom, does anyone care? I mean, I don't know how these family dynamics, but like your stepmom is
Yeah,
Hema Malini.
right. Like that's not nothing.
So
So that can't be easy.
Isha Dil keeps trying to make a comeback happen, and I'm like, no, girl,
Nobody
no.
cares. Nobody cares.
No. She keeps doing like these little short films here and there. And Retro Bollywood, whom I follow on Instagram and I adore them, they just did a whole piece on Isha Dil. And I was like, why? No one cares. And she talks about like her journey and everything. I'm like, what journey?
So she must have debuted like 20 years ago now, right?
Yeah.
So I guess that's retro.
Yeah, that is very retro at this
Here we are.
point. Someone the other day, one of my coworkers, I complimented their like skirt or whatever, and they were like, "Thanks, it's vintage." And I was like, "Oh, like what era or whatever?" Because like when you say vintage, I'm thinking like 70s or something, right? And she goes, "It's from 2010." I'm like, "Girl, that is not vintage." And then I was like, "Wait, if
It's
it's
just
2023, 2020, is that vintage?"
that's just at the bottom of the hamper still. I think it has to be at least 20 to be vintage, in my
Okay.
opinion.
Okay, I like your definition, because she said it's vintage, and I was like, that is not vintage. Okay.
I want to talk about a person that nobody misses, but I think we have to talk about, and it is Mimo
Oh,
slash Mahakshay. If you don't know, it's the son of Mithun Chakraborty and Yogita Bali. I am a fan of Mithun Chakraborty, but his offspring, oh, Jimmy is a terrible film, but you should maybe watch
you
it.
have watched Jimmy?
Yeah, this is kind of a long story. I got snookered into watching it in a
I'm
watch
kind of
along, and then
judging
the
you right
other.
now. I hope you know that.
No, it's fine. A very good friend said we were going to do a watch along, but then she didn't show up, so I was watching it by myself. And I think there may have been other people too, but like the main instigator who was like, "No, you have to see Jimmy."
This friend sounds shaky, just FYI.
She's very, very funny. She became quite the internet sensation a couple of years ago for being the auntie who gave funny opinions on films on the street. She's great, Anushree. You should all follow her. But anyway, Mimo, who, disappeared so much that he had to rebrand himself with a new name. And I'm not even sure I can think of another example of someone who kind of re-debuted with a different name, and we're like, we know who you are. You're still Mithun's kid, and you still.
What is the new name?
He goes by Maha Akshay now.
Is that his real name?
I think so. I can't remember.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't matter. Nobody cares. No one's looking for him. I think he does do a few Bengali films as well as Hindi here and there.
Oh Lord.
I'm not sure. So so maybe no one's asking whatever happened to, but I just think like in terms of a flame out, he seems to be kind of, you had to be on fire first to flame out, I guess. So maybe it's more of a failure to launch situation, but I just, Mithun is a very specific taste, I think, but also he was a huge star for an extremely long time. And he's acted in a whole bunch of different kinds of films and like national award winner, all this.
I've seen the movie for which he got the national award. Was it Trishna? Mrigatrishna. I don't know. Yeah. I forget. But it was one of the movies I watched during that 2 to 4 p.m. afternoon NFDC thing that I used to do. And he was spectacular in it. And I was shocked because all of his masala movies, he was horrible. And all of those movies were horrible. I didn't know he could act. And then I saw that and I was like, what in heaven's name? This is that dude. But yeah.
And I've actually never seen that, but it's on my list. Because I like, a lot of his masala films really are incredibly cheap and terrible in a lot of ways, but I enjoy him in them somehow anyway. Like whatever you think of his dancing, I find it entertaining. And like, I love Bapi Lahiri's music. I love
my
it.
favorite.
So he's
my favorite music director of all time.
He's so great, and that them together is really fun. And and obviously he stars opposite some fabulous people like Sri Devi, who I will
Yes.
sit through almost anything to watch. So, but whatever that set of appeal is, it has not translated to his son at all. I don't think.
So how many movies did this dude do?
Wikipedia looks like he has about 10. They're not all in Hindi. Some of
10
them I'm pretty sure
movies.
some of them are Bengali. Some of them are short films.
Okay.
And he's got 2 that are upcoming. So, approximately a dozen.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. So he's just one of those, again, nepotism is not enough. Because he's gotten multiple chances. And again, like Uday
Yes.
has just not really, but again, maybe he's stepped away quite on purpose. And I think he's married, maybe he has kids, like maybe doesn't want to do this anymore. And good, if that's what he wants, good for him. But
Yeah.
it's just kind of a like, oh yeah, remember that guy? Which is not the same as whatever happened to, but I'm kind of,
Right.
I've set myself on these kind of related paths.
Right, right. Also, if you can't talk about these people on this podcast, where else are you going to talk about them? Like, this is not conversations that people have. Like, I can't go to work tomorrow and
No.
at like 9 a.m. be like, guys, remember Mimo? People will just be like, we don't know what you're saying. Like,
So
let's do this meeting instead.
the undergrad that works with me on graphic design is Indian American. And
Mhm.
so I've broached films with her, and she does like Hindi films quite a bit. And she was like, my favorite movie, have you, I want to know if you've watched my favorite movie. She's like, it's
Oh, God.
Ashiki 2. And I was like,
Oh,
I have somehow managed to miss that one. But I did
did you
promise
tell
her
her
I
how
will
much you
watch it.
love Shraddha?
No. But she's like 20 or 21. So she saw that when she was like 12 or whatever, right? So I get it. And I do need to watch it so I can tell her I've watched it. And I think I've actually said this on the podcast before. I got to hold myself accountable here, but where was I going with that? I have absolutely no idea. Oh, she's the only person at work I can talk about Hindi films with that I know
I
of.
feel
But
like you need to be gentle with her, because
yes.
if she's liking Ashiki too, then we have to be
she's
gentle.
like learning to like Shah Rukh and things like that. So she's
okay, good.
Yeah.
You need to just like force feed her Shah Rukh movies.
What I need
Maybe
to do
show
is
her a Sunny Deol movie or
I
something.
need to get her to tell me, let me talk to her parents and be like, what do you guys like?
Right.
Because I probably will bond with them over films, and that's okay.
Right. Exactly. Okay. The next person I have on my list is Nandita Das.
Oh,
right?
She should be in more.
She should be in more stuff. I think of her the way I think of Konkona. Like, I feel like they're sort of in that same bracket, kind of, where she can do what she can do. And I love Nandita Das in Fire. And I've seen her in so many. Every time I see her, I'm pleasantly, I like her. And I'm like, why aren't you doing more? So, but I don't know what she does.
I've seen her in the last year, not in a new film, but in an older film, because I watched the early 2000s film Ux, which is the kind of face-off remake with Amitabh Bachchan and oh my God. Oh, I'm blanking. Why does this happen to me that I blank on names? And he's so good.
Does it have Raveena Tandon by any chance?
Yes, it
I haven't seen
does.
this movie.
Yes, it does. And why am I oh my God, he's an actor we all love. He's in The Family Man.
Oh, Manoj Bajpayee.
Thank you. I could get the initials, and that's all I can do.
This is like Jeopardy or like some ad libs or something.
So we record these usually at the end of my work day, so I'm going to blame that. But I think it's just something wrong with me.
Beth is ready for happy hour. She's ready for her
so. And this, I swear, this is water. I swear.
Yeah, no, we don't believe you.
The Rishi Kapoor episode influence. She again manages to kind of hold her own in that completely batshiters movie, like, and she has a cute song number, which again, you don't really think of her as being like good at songs necessarily, because she's not in things that tend to feature that, but I thought she was quite good in it. I'm always happy to see her when she pops up.
Yeah, speaking of Konkona, I don't know what she's doing. I haven't heard about her.
I thought about her too.
Yeah, like, is she acting? Is she directing? What is she doing?
Well,
I don't know. I didn't see her last whatever
Kute?
Dolly.
Yeah, I didn't see it yet either.
Oh, I didn't even know she was in Kute.
Yeah,
but
she
Dolly something ke chamakte sitare. I haven't seen that. Have you seen it?
I saw that. Yeah.
Was it good?
It's nice. It's fine. Okay. It's not nice because it's not actually an easy film in some ways, but it is a good watch. Definitely watch it on a plane. if you can. Like, that's a good place to watch it. I don't think you'll be sad. She and Boomy are good together, I think. So
Okay.
yeah, I mean, for years, I feel like my answer to so many things is put Konkana in it. Like, I want more of
Yeah.
her. And obviously now we want her as a director as well. So like
Yes.
bring, Konkana, please, we would love to see you do any and everything. You're so
Yeah.
good. She's so good.
Yeah, so I would say Nandita Das, Konkana, I don't know what they're doing, but I want them to do more. I think Nandita Das also paints, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, what were you saying?
So I just have another person when you're ready.
Oh, tell me.
Okay, this just came to me just now, and I like this person so much that I think I've forgotten that they're not really doing a whole lot most of the time, is Akshay Khanna.
No, but I feel like he started doing quite a bit.
Yeah, like, so he was there and then he wasn't, and now he's kind of back in drips and drabs along the way.
It's like the
he's
Bobby.
he's like in Sridevi's last film, Mom, as a cop.
Mm,
He's in, he pops up here and there. I think streaming is very good, like for a lot of these people, like the OTT platforms
yes.
and all, so that there's a lot more opportunities for interesting stuff. Assuming Pankaj Tripathi does not take all of the roles. But I just, like, it was Akshay Khanna's birthday last week, I saw on Twitter. So some of us were tweeting about him, and like, there's a little bit of a thread of like, why wasn't he a bigger deal? Because he's a good actor and he was beautiful.
He was.
And
But then,
I'm not going to claim he was an amazing dancer, but like, dude got out there and definitely could do it somewhat, right? Like,
yeah,
he did not embarrass himself as a dancer, I would say,
right.
unlike some people. But yeah, I mean, is it just the fact that he balded very young? I feel like they can't be just that, because obviously they can do things with fake hair if they want to. So, I mean, costume designers and all, right? So
I think for me, because I like Akshay Khanna, but
Mhm.
I never really liked him all that much.
Mm.
I think the problem for me was that he looked so similar to his dad, to
Yeah,
Vinod Khanna, but didn't have any of the brawniness and the sex appeal
right.
of Vinod Khanna. So it's kind of like you look like your dad, but you're missing the best
It's
things
different.
about your dad.
Yeah,
Whereas
yeah,
with Rahul Khanna, what works with Rahul Khanna is that he doesn't look like his dad.
right.
He's very handsome in his own right. So you're
Yeah.
not thinking of Vinod Khanna constantly.
Mm.
With Akshay Khanna, you see him and you immediately think of Vinod. And then the fact that he's not as whatever throws you off. It's the same problem Abhishek Bachchan has.
Yeah.
He's reminiscent of Amitabh, but then he doesn't have Amitabh's personality, and then you're like, nah, I don't want this. So I think if you have a famous father, you need to look completely different from him, like Rakesh and
Hopefully.
Hrithik Roshan. Yeah.
Right.
Or you need, it's the same thing that happened also with Shashi Kapoor and his son,
Oh,
with
God. I mean,
Karan
all three of
Kapoor.
his kids are like,
Yeah.
whoop, no,
It's
not
kind of
actors.
like, yeah, although I did like Sanjana Kapoor very much in what little I've seen her, and she was lovely. But then she was also the daughter. So
Yeah.
I think that was the thing with Akshay Khanna for a lot of people, well, at least for me, where it was like, you're like your dad, but you're too different. But like, I don't know. But he's doing more now, and I think he's great for
Yeah, and I
streaming.
think I think he has got a good future if he wants one in playing interesting cop. And that's always going to be a role, right? Interesting
Yeah.
police officer. Now, I don't want him to do like stupid, dumb, horrible police officer. I want him to do like interesting one, like the one in oh, we've talked about this film already. The remake of the Rajesh Khanna Nanda thriller
Oh,
that Yash Chopra did.
I know which one you mean.
Oh my God.
Imtihan? No, not Imtihan.
It does start
I
with
know
an
what you're
I.
talking about.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
sorry, listeners.
Ittifaq, Ittifaq.
Ittifaq. Thank you. Yeah. So like that, he's got that Imam, and he's got some others where
There
he's
was
the
also
good
that
cop.
other movie that I watched where he played an attorney. He was so good in that.
I know which one you mean. I have not seen it, but yeah, I know what you mean.
He was really good in that as well. So I think he's
Mhm.
good for these like kind of
Oh,
like intellectual professions, like an attorney or
and
something
he's
like
in
that. Like
Drishyam too, right? I
I have
think
not seen Drishyam too, but I
I
think
haven't
he
either.
might be in
I think
it.
he's in
I
that
mostly
too.
just fixated on the fact that it had Tabu because I love Tabu.
And he
So
has no social media presence, which, in some ways I'm sure is excellent for mental health, and therefore I salute it, but it does not help keep you on people's radars,
he
if
also
that
doesn't
matters.
attend any promotional events
Nope.
ever,
Nope.
which is also a big no-no.
I mean,
So
the Khanna brothers are such an interesting case in like personal life is on lock.
yeah.
Nobody knows. anything. And I hope that they're very happy because good for them. And
Rahul
so,
Khanna especially is darling. Like I love Rahul Khanna
and
so
he's
much.
obviously
I
like
think
very happy to be on social media
oh he is.
and is delightful to correspond with in direct messages, but he is like, and it's good. I salute that. Like good for
He
them.
always posts these like thirst traps on Instagram, and I'm
Totally.
always amazed at how young he looks.
And he's
He's
50.
not that
No,
young,
he's
but
not.
he
He's over
looks
50.
absolutely
Yeah.
gorgeous. He
Yep.
needs to come out with like a skincare line because I would buy it.
I really enjoyed him in Lost that came out a couple weeks ago. It's a political thriller set in Calcutta. And as we know, people looking for things in Calcutta is one of my favorite
Is one
my
of your
favorite
favorite.
micro
Yeah.
genres. And he plays a slimy politician, like quite against type, I would say.
Okay.
And you can see his dad having done a role like that, and you can see his brother having done a role like that, but he
Right.
did it, and you're like, oh yeah, that's good, because he's like dressed very, very impeccably, and like he looks all smooth and like clean and good, and you're like, oh no, he's a bad man.
Oh, he's very
It's good.
polished.
Very
But
polished.
isn't that interesting? Like you have the Dils and you have the Khannas, and it's like the famous dad and the two sons, and it's like it's just interesting to
So
me.
different. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Is there anyone else in your list? I think I have like just one more name.
I believe that was the end of my list, so you should
Oh,
please
there is
take
just
us
one
home.
person on my list, and that is Amisha Patel. What happened to her?
Oh, what
She
did
had a
happen to
dream
her?
debut. Kaho
Seriously.
Na Pyar Hai was a dream debut to have. It was the movie was just like a gigantic success. Hrithik's face was plastered everywhere. She
I
did well for
mean,
herself too.
yeah, unless that's the problem, right? He ran away with that monster,
Yeah.
like even if she was wonderful, she wasn't as big as she could never be as big as he was because he's the dude.
Yeah. But
But
she did
yeah.
a lot of movies. I mean,
Mhm,
she did so many movies. She had Gadar with Sunny Deol, which was
mhm.
like such a gigantic hit,
Famous.
especially in
Mhm,
Punjab. And then
mhm.
she did a lot of these like smaller movies that were also hits, like all of these like Dharmesh Darshan directed movies, many of which she was paired with Bobby Deol actually.
Hmm.
So she did well for herself. She was in Bhool Bhulaiya, where
Oh
I
yeah.
actually enjoyed her in Bhool Bhulaiya. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously it was Vidya who stole the
Yeah.
show in Bhool Bhulaiya, but she was cute in it too. So she did all these like movies. She was nice. I feel like she could act. I mean, she wasn't like, she's not some like great actress, but she's fine. And then she
Yeah.
just kind of like vanished, and I don't know what she's doing anymore.
I mean,
So
I think
she doesn't come in streaming either.
no, I don't think so. I'm looking at her filmography. So she of course is in Race 2 all those years ago. How is Race 2 10 years old, by the way? Where is time? Then she has a couple of other things since then, but she's in a movie with Preeti Zinta actually. Bayaji Super Hit, which
Oh, that's the one.
is that the one?
That's
Yeah.
the one with Sunny Deol.
I mean, apparently she is in Gutter too,
It looks like
but
maybe only Sunny Deol is giving movies to her.
yeah. Yeah, I know some people find her kind of screechy and annoying, or as I recall, but I think she's fine.
Yeah, she's fine. I mean, why isn't she coming in anything? I don't know. But again, I just want to clarify. It's not like I'm like dying to see her in something. And I'm
Yeah.
so, because this list is very varied, right? Like the
Yeah.
person I really wish I could see in something that was meaty and good and worthy of her acting caliber is really Chitrangada Singh. That's who I really want to see.
Yeah.
And then I do want to see Nandit and Konkona do a little bit more because
Yeah.
I do like them also very much.
Yeah.
I would like to see more Rahul Bose. I would like to see more of the Khanna brothers, and it's good like that they are doing stuff. But then Preeti is kind of in that not Preeti. Amisha is kind of in that category where I'm not necessarily bemoaning the fact that I don't see her anything. It's just a question mark. That's all.
I did actually think of one more person. Sorry.
Who? No, it's fine.
I actually really like this person, and I feel like probably a lot of people don't. Antara Mali.
Oh, I only know her in the one movie, Notch.
Yeah, which I love that movie. That movie's
Really?
weird and
It is
interesting.
very
Yeah.
weird.
I like that it, again, like it's a big swing and a weirdness. I've only seen her in a couple of films, but and again, she was one of those people like I felt like was everywhere for a little bit, at least in advertisements for things. Like even if the project wasn't huge, they advertise. I feel like, and again, maybe this is a product of like DVD ads that you couldn't skip or whatever. Like if you are a younger person and didn't depend on DVDs for your Hindi films ever, like I cannot explain to you how getting a DVD player where you could skip the ads. Like you did not have to see the ad for rice anymore, and like the cauliflower flying upwards out of the
Right.
bowl.
You know,
It's
the most
just,
hellish thing about some of the DVDs used to be, and the VCDs were even worse, was
oh,
the ticker tape.
oh
So they
yeah.
used to have this ticker tape that was almost like 30% of the screen. And it was so annoying. And I have a VCD of this movie. It's actually a Marathi movie. And
Mm.
it's such a good movie. And it's like an art film. So it's like a serious, good art film. And I can only find the VCD anymore. I can't find a DVD that will
Uh,
work with my DVD player. It's not on streaming. And it's 30% of the ticker tape. And it's the worst ticker tape,
it's
too. It's
huge.
for All Out. All
And that
Out
is,
is that, oh, it's this thing that you plug in and it kills mosquitoes.
ah,
And it's terrible. It's this, okay, so it's this thing, it looks like it's like this big, I guess. And in the ad, they have this like animated thing where like a frog, it sticks its tongue out to get mosquitoes. Like that's what the ads used to be. So in the ticker tape, it's this thing that goes, and it's like All Out. And meanwhile, it's like a serious art film and there's like important things happening and I'm crying my eyes out and I'm like, no. And then it's like, it's like, no. It's like I feel so many emotions at the same time, none of them good. It makes me so mad. But ever since then, I have an irrational hatred of All Out. I hate it. My mother has All Out in her house in Bombay. And every time I see it, I'm like, All Out. But I have to have it plugged in. So, but I hate it.
Fair
So
enough.
yeah, the DVD is like, seriously, like I hate to sound like an old person, but people these days, like kids these days, have no idea how we have suffered.
And like you will remember there was a kind of product called the song DVD where it was a DVD of songs of a particular performer, like, often it was Madhuri Dixit or somebody like that who had a lot of great songs, but then it would also be like completely random ones
Yeah.
that you could get. And that was how you saw songs if you couldn't get your hands on the movie. And like now we go to YouTube, obviously, but like we didn't have that. And those
No.
song DVDs were when you're new to Hindi cinema, particularly, you're like, what is this magical like
Yeah.
medium, this like subset that was really interesting. But yeah,
I had a song DVD of Rekha. Not a DVD, it was a
ooh,
VCD. So I had a song VCD of Rekha.
mhm.
And whoever compiled it was not a very organized person. So my beef with them is that, like, okay, so if I was a person in charge of compiling a song DVD, this is what I would do. And I feel like you would do this also. I feel like we would go chronologically, right?
I mean, our playlists on the Filmi Ladies channel, which you should check out if you have not, are in chronological order, including the 60 some Kawalis. They are in
Yes.
chronological order. I think it's
Because we are
60 some. There's a
sensible,
ton.
organized
That's
people.
right.
But in this one, or even like when we do the movie, the Superstars episode, we're going
Mm-hmm.
like we've just finished with the
Mm-hmm.
60s and now we're heading into the 70s and stuff like that. So in this one, it was like it would have like a song from Kunbari Mang, and then suddenly you would have a song from Utsav, and then it would have a song from like
Whoa.
Solva Savan or whatever. And then if the cognitive dissonance, it's like crazy. It's like you see Rekha in all her iterations. You see glam 80s Rekha with the power shoulders and the sequins and the perm. And then you see like Rekha in the Amrapali outfit and itself. And then you see Rekha like this. It's so confusing. And I'm always like, how it would have taken you 5 minutes, five
Right.
minutes, just 5 minutes to just organize the songs in a chronological order. But no, it's like you got to jump everywhere. So this is what I mean. Like people nowadays do not have an appreciation for how we have suffered. World's tiniest violin. But it also built our character. So there's that.
It made us the women we are today. The Filmi
It
Ladies
made
you
us
see
the
before
filmy
you.
ladies we are. Yes.
I hope that our listeners will put their whatever happened to people in the comments, because obviously we can all Google and like find out what happened to people, but it's kind of
Yeah.
interesting to think about because there's always a reason, we may not be able to discern what it is, but sometimes
I
people just,
also enjoy gossip and conjecture. So
there
if
you
people
go.
want to like just throw out some like crazy ass gossip at us, I would welcome that also.
And if we need to do a companion piece to this episode called why are they still here? I think we've
Oh,
covered that already.
I think Fardeen Khan is trying to make a comeback. because he recently joined Instagram and I immediately followed him.
Yeah.
And now he keeps doing photo shoots. And also he has fan clubs on Instagram, which I was like, Fardeen Khan has multiple fan clubs.
There's a fan club for everyone, I swear.
There really
It's
is.
so weird.
I mean, yeah, it's crazy. But like he keeps like reposting his fan clubs, like whatever things, but they're like our favorite hero, Fardeen Khan. And I'm like, really? You
Okay.
say that with a straight face? But I think he's trying to make a comeback, because why is he doing all of these photo shoots?
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Wow.
If Fardeen Khan decided to try to make his comeback by remaking one of his father's films, which film should it be?
Oh, hell no. He should not. No. He cannot touch Kurbani. He cannot touch, no, I do not support
like,
this.
That's not going to happen.
That is not okay. He can just do something completely different.
The answer is Noggin, because the answer is always Noggin to every question. The answer
then is Fardeen Khan going to be the Noggin? I mean, he's a guy.
Sure. Jitendra can be one. So why not Fardeen Khan?
This is true.
Oh my God. You know, so the 70s Noggin, like you could cast everyone in it could be the younger generation, all those people's kids, right? I would watch the heck out of that.
Also, Fardeen Khan is Mumtaz's son-in-law, so he can it's okay if he takes her place because her kids don't act, so that's fine. Right. Oh God, I can't believe that this is what we have devolved into. We are now trying to come up with like alternate careers and stuff for all of these Nepo kids. Why, Beth? Why?
Yeah, because you love to fantasy cast and I love vintage movies. So like and you like some vintage movies too. So you put those two things together and you're like, what are the offspring up to? Can they capture the magic? No, they cannot.
No, absolutely not. Okay. I just wanted to say something to our viewers that our last episode, like the one right before this, was the Sharmila Tagore episode. And I was really kicking myself about the fact I just woken up from a nap when we got to do the recording. And I forgot to mention two movies I really wanted to mention. So I'm going to mention them now, even though I have nothing to do with whatever happened to, which is one of the movies I wanted to say that I love of Sharmila's is Mausam. It's directed by Gulzar. She plays a prostitute, and she has a complete potty mouth in it. She smokes a BD, and it's just like, yeah, it's against type. It's not the classy, rich, well-dressed, bouffant-wearing Sharmila. It's this very like crass Sharmila, but it's really well done and it's very against type, and people should watch Mausam. It's good. The other one that I wanted to speak about is one of my favorite movies. Which is why it's crazy I forgot to mention it. It's called Anupama, and I think it's a Rishikesh Mukherjee movie if I'm not mistaken. I know it co-stars Dharmendra, and it's black and white. And it has, again, she plays against type. She plays a girl called Anupama who is very sheltered, and she's very shy and almost to the point of being reclusive. She has no social skills whatsoever. And Dharmendra is kind of like her love interest. And he's so handsome in this film. And his role is very like genteel, a little bit like Satyakam and some of those. When Dharam is not screaming and like fist punching people, he can actually be very like genteel and urbane and sophisticated, and he's very those things in Anupama. Anupama also has one of my favorite, actually probably my number one favorite Lata Mangeshkar song of all time, which is Kuch Dil Ne Kaha. It is shot in what looks to be like some sort of valley, and Sharmila is wearing this white sari and she looks ethereal and it's foggy. Oh, it is just such a beautiful like atmospheric song. It's ethereal. I mean, you have to at least listen to that song and watch the video, even if you're not willing to watch the movie. Like, you just have to. It is just like, it will make you such a gigantic fan of Lata Mangeshkar when you hear that song. But yes, so Anupama and Mausam, two Sharmila Tagore movies that I really love that I forgot to mention. So there we go. Yay!
Tell us in the comments, people that you're wondering what happened to. It's not too late to tell us your favorite Sharmila Tagore film. It's never too late. And maybe if you have any inside information about the people we're wondering about, you can put it there too.
Yeah, we're gossip mongers. We'll listen.
Thank you so much for listening / watching. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter. We are Filmi Ladies there. Here on YouTube, please subscribe if you have not. It does really help promote visibility of the podcast. And if you have any other
Make your
suggestions,
friends watch us.
make your friends. Yeah, if you've got Hindi film loving friends, make them pay attention to us. And we will see you again next week for a very filmy episode.
So excited for it. Bye.